Thursday. So welcome to you all. I'm Colin Holt. I'm the clinical director here for Leeds Children's Hospital, for those of you who I don't know. And this is a reminder, Ed has already pressed the record button, so he's on it this morning, which is good to see, as we head and give you an update with where we're at from a position within the hospital as a whole at the moment. As always, if you can put your chat questions in the chat rather, and we'll try and address them as we go through, but if not, we'll pick them up at the end. That'd be really helpful, so thank you. As I said, it's International Nurses Day on Thursday, based around the birth of Florence Nightingale. The interesting facts that I could find about Florence are that she kept at one point 17 cats, which is a mass amount of cats in a house. But more importantly, recognition that your nurses are very, very fit people, because on average on a 12-hour shift, you walk 4 to 5 miles a day, which is just incredible, alongside all the work that you guys do. So huge thanks to you all, and there'll be more updates, I'm sure, from Laura and team as we go through the working week as well, with further updates about it. So updates was what's happening within the hospital as a whole at the moment. Highlights from tactical, and that's the meeting whereby operational issues across the whole of the trust are shared. COVID is still having an impact, so I think there were 71 cases of COVID within the hospital as a whole. I think 3 were within ICU, and that's what we're seeing now, is a significant less numbers needing critical care, which is obviously good from the point of view of getting through cases that require critical care, as well as other conditions that end up in critical care. But also I think it's the impact of vaccines have had as well. So a good thing that's happening, as well as the numbers falling. There's only now 1 positive red ward within the trust, that's J11, and numbers can continue to fall. There is going to be a change, though, because obviously in the community there's going to be less testing going on, and a move to lateral flow testing as well for pre-surgery, and we're just currently working through what that will be for the Children's Hospital as well. So from the 15th of May, all electives that come through the hospital will be self-reported lateral flow tests before admission, and we're just working how that's going to be best recorded, and we'll let everyone know as we move forward with that. The nosocomial rate is still quite high, at almost 19%, so please do keep up with your PPE to make sure that we try and reduce that risk for our patients and families that come through the Children's Hospital. And the good news is, though, things such as parents and carers are now allowed on site for the trust nurseries, so that's going to be a change going forward. And also within the Children's Hospital, we're going to look at a extraordinary bronze around what it will mean for us around testing for elective patients, but also around visitors, also around things such as work placements, both from sort of work experience point of view, but also visitors within the hospital, as well as sort of Teams meeting, and looking for risk assessment with regard to face-to-face meetings as well coming back in. So we will update you all from the end of this week onwards regarding that as we move forward. So I will hand over to Laura now, who's going to give us an update about what's happening.
Thanks, Colin. I'm very disturbed about the cat fact, so I'll have to go away and just validate that claim. Good morning, everybody. I'm Laura Whelan, the Deputy Head of Nursing for the Children's Hospital, in case you've not met me before. So in terms of our operational pressures, we remain really stretched across PEDS crit care in terms of beds, capacity and staffing. So that's a daily review to identify what cases we can get through based on how many staff we have and what acutes we're seeing. We're just seeing a lot of acutes coming through needing crit care beds, and also patients, a lot of long-term patients on there that are unfortunately not fit enough to step down. We've also been quite pressured through the CAT unit as well. It's been a tricky weekend with a lot of admissions and not many beds across the Children's Hospital. And we've got an increasing number of CAMS patients again within our bed base. So I think just recognising that we're trying to distribute those across the PEDS wards, just to make sure that we're trying to not have 2 CAMS patients together on the same ward. I think just recognising the challenge really in terms of staffing those patients and keeping them safe, and that we are seeing really acutely unwell children and young people with CAMS presentations. We've also had quite a number of red wards this weekend in terms of staffing pressures that we've not been able to run at our usual ratios, and so we are looking at how we can try and incentivise and just drive up our staffing levels while we're still navigating a really busy hospital picture, really, which we were hoping that by May we may be beginning to sort of have a little bit of a let up. So hopefully more to come next week in terms of how we might have been able to incentivise staff for shift work, etc. So I think back to you, Colin.
Thank you, Laura, and a real recognition that actually what we're seeing across the whole of the Children's Hospital is not necessarily the increased demand, but it's also the acuity of the patients as well has massively increased. And I know that's certainly within the sort of cardiology team, hem-oncology, and also other specialties as well. But actually that these are really demanding and really challenging patients, which means that therefore the length of stay on both intensive care but also on the wards is longer, and that puts real pressure on our whole services. So huge thanks for everyone working very hard as we can do, and we've got meetings in place to try and help with flow ongoing this week as well. I did see Annabelle pop up, but I'm presuming that it may well be either Annabelle or Liz to come and talk about waste reduction just now. Liz, are you there? You are.
Morning, I am. Hi everyone, I'm Liz Smith, Business Manager for Quality Improvement and Waste Reduction. And today it's a bit of a waste reduction day. So about 6 weeks ago, I shared an update on a review of ward snacks that was being undertaken by Sarah Fletcher. And Sarah and some of the senior sisters had reviewed the range and brands of food items we stock, aiming to standardise the types and brands of snacks that are supplied to the wards so that we could make sure that we get best value for money. And when I told you about this about 6 weeks ago, we said we anticipated approximately £1,000 per year of savings. But I had to revisit it again today because we've got great news to report that actually the final total of the savings is going to be more like £4,000 this year. So really well done to Sarah and all those who worked with her to make this happen. And then I've just got one more little item to mention, if I may. Something highlighted by Alessa, one of our admin team members. Alessa highlighted that the face masks being supplied in the Martin Wing entrance had switched to being individually wrapped in plastic bags, and she queried why we'd do this at a time when we're trying to reduce plastic waste. A very good question. And I'm sure she's not the only one who wondered this. So I spoke to our colleagues in procurement, and they said that currently all our surgical face masks are still supplied from national stock, and the arrival of the individually wrapped ones is all part of using up the national PPE stockpile that was purchased at the beginning of the pandemic. So individually wrapped ones, although not ideal, are not going to continue. It's not a change of strategy. Procurement asked for them to be put in non-clinical areas, because they thought, all the different hands that go into those dispensers in the non-clinical areas, maybe it was a good thing, but also they acknowledged that on the wards it was just another thing that perhaps would have wasted people's time and people wouldn't have really welcomed them there. So I can reassure you that they're not going to continue. When the stocks of them have been used up, they're gone and we're back to non-wrapped ones. So yeah, thanks to Alessa for asking the question and highlighting the issue, and if anyone has similar things that they want to know about, give me a shout and I'll try and find an answer.
Liz, thank you very much, and great news, both on the sort of financial savings on the food, but also the responsiveness as well of you looking into queries as well. So that's great, and huge thanks to you and Kirsty for your ongoing work in that. And I opened a single pack mask this morning as I came into Chapel Allerton Hospital as well. So I've had my answer before I even could ask it. So there we go, brilliant. We are very kindly going to be joined. I think Anna Kinsella is on the call on this Teams meeting today, and Anna was going to give us a bit of an update with where we're at within the paediatric pharmacy team within the Children's Hospital. So Anna, over to you.
Oh, thanks, Colin. Thank you. Somebody will have to share that lovely background with me. I've not seemed to acquire it since I've come back from maternity leave, so please do send it on. So for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm Anna Kinsella. I'm the clinical pharmacy team lead for the women's and children's paediatric pharmacy team. So I just wanted to give a bit of update. I'm aware that all areas are under staffing pressures. But since I've come back, we're under kind of unprecedented staffing shortages. We're about 25 to 30% down on staff across the paediatric team. So we are really, really feeling the pinch. I'm anticipating that hopefully none of you will see a change in or any delays with regard to medicine supply or discharges, because we are prioritising on them. All wards will get cover every day, but it's just some of that work that underpins all our day-to-day work, guidelines and emails and monographs and everything. You might see a bit of a delay in a response to them. But we do have a short-term, a medium and a long-term plan to try and focus on this. So we have recruitment out and people are doing overtime, and we've got support from other clusters. It is on our Triumvirate's radar, and our lead clinicians, so they are aware. But just please be aware that some of the pharmacists that are covering your areas are being pulled in many directions at the minute. So please feel free, if there's any issues in particular areas, to come and speak to me. And we're trying to resolve our staffing like many other areas at the minute.
Thank you, Anna. And I've, I recognise the huge amount of work that's gone in for the pharmacy team as well, as you cover what is challenging and difficult and specialist areas within the hospital as a whole. So huge thanks for working on ongoing that, and as well as the sort of feedback and reactiveness around trying to solve those issues. So thank you. I'm also going to put in the chat as well, so let me send it forward to the background for all to use as well. So let me post that just now. For all that can want to use that for their backdrop within Teams. We now are going to share a bit of success around our patient-initiated follow-up, and that may well be why Annabelle had popped up. Oh no, Claire, you are there. Perfect. Claire, so I'll hand over to you and you can give us an update as where we're on with this project with the patient-initiated follow-up. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you. Is it okay to share? So yeah, good morning everyone. It's just I've come to talk to you about PIFU, patient-initiated follow-up, and what it means. So what is PIFU? Patient-initiated follow-up enables us to give our patients and family the flexibility to arrange their follow-up appointments as and when they need them. And NHS England and NHS Improvement are supporting providers to roll out patient-initiated follow-up. So what is a PIFU pathway? So the pathway is designed to allow you to access clinical teams when you feel you need to get help with your condition. So for example, if you have a flare of symptoms, this means that rather than having a pre-arranged or regular scheduled appointment, you can access help when you need it the most. So currently PIFU's already established in paediatric allergy. We've got 92 patients on the PIFU waiting list, and the speech and language, cleft lip and palate service of 180 patients on the list. We're looking to roll out across to paediatric gastroenterology and physiotherapy, psychology, SALT, occupational therapy and dietetics. So they're just starting the process. So the learning and next steps. We recognise the value of clinical engagement in implementing these new pathways and making sure everybody's engaged in the process, and that patients and families value a joint decision about their care and onward journey. The next steps also is identifying the project steps to roll out the pace with other specialties. But hopefully it's not suited to all specialties, it's only certain specialties probably suited for. Any questions?
So thanks, Claire, and I think it's certainly one of the areas that challenges me within my own clinical practice as well, to think at different ways of running it, and the patient-initiated follow-up is certainly it's certainly been an addition to my clinical practice in helping it, because I think sometimes we think within medicine we know the best way of doing things, but actually this can challenge us and can be a better offering for our patients, rather than us arbitrarily choosing a date of 6 or 9 months or a year to see them. It's in their hands if they need to come back to see us. So I'd be great and keen for everyone to support Claire in her work with that. Please do put any chats that in the box essentially as well if you've got them to Claire, and we'll answer them as we go through. So I think that brings us to AOB, and there's a few things to mention. One is that we have the Junior Doctor Awards as well. You'll have seen with the weekly newsletter that comes out through LTHT, that the Junior Doctor Awards are open. So please do think about your own clinical teams. If there are any outstanding junior doctors that have gone above and beyond or have done a specific task or role, then please don't hesitate to nominate them. Or if you're wondering how to do it, then get in touch with Liz or myself. Really happy to help and support you with that. Laura, I didn't know if you wanted to update around new exciting appointment within the nursing workforce as well.
So thank you. So we interviewed very recently for a new role, the lead nurse for quality within the Children's Hospital, and I'm really proud to announce that Anna Dennis, who is currently the ward manager on L41, although she's been on maternity leave, she's just back, has been successful in her application for the post. So she'll be starting in the next sort of 6 to 8 weeks formally, and that ties in really nicely with the global theme for International Nurses Day, which is around investment in nursing to achieve health equality for all. So just really excited that Anna will be starting and that she'll be supporting us across a range of different activities across the Children's Hospital related to quality and safety.
Thank you, Lauren, and Anna will be amazing. It's I suppose double-edged for me, to be honest, because she's been an amazing senior ward sister on 41, where we have our paediatric orthopaedic practice, but I know that she will flourish and continue to engage with 41 going forward. So I'm really excited about that for the whole of the Children's Hospital. It's great news. There is also the Grand Round this week happening, so a plug for them between 1 and 2 o'clock on Tuesdays. It happens every week, and it's about neurodevelopment that will be there. Ed, I didn't know if you wanted to update us around our champions video as well.
Yes, thanks, Colin. I know Suzanne wanted to share this, but she can't be here this morning. But I've taken my liberty of posting it in the chat. Hopefully it's popped up by now. There's a link to a YouTube video there. This went out in the buzz a couple of weeks ago, but it's a fantastic little video all about the champion roles that we have within the Children's Hospital and across the Trust. I know that Suzanne, working with the Health and Wellbeing Strategy Group, is really keen to promote these roles. The 6 roles that we're promoting across the Children's Hospital, they're all voluntary. They're all kind of additional roles, but they're all about improving health and well-being and diversity and inclusivity within the workplace. So if you watch the video, you'll hear from 6 existing champions. We've got a mental health first aider, there's an inclusion ambassador, there's a health and wellbeing champion, there's an equality at birth champion, a BME champion, and a dignity at work advisor. And the video just explains a bit more about what these roles are all about, why they're important, and why those particular individuals have chosen to sign up for those roles. And it's all about encouraging more people to sign up and take on these roles that are all about improving the workplace. So rather than me bang on about it, I'll put the link in the chat. Watch the video. Hopefully it's inspiring, and some of you might be interested in taking on one of those roles. If you are interested in knowing more about any of the individual roles, you can email Helen Dorgan and she can send you out a role profile, and we can put you in touch with the relevant team as well. So please do watch it. Any questions, contact myself or Helen. Thanks, Colin.
Thank you, Ed. So I think looking at the questions, that I think there's only a couple that have come up. So one is around the Gelco supplies, and I'm turning and looking to Laura to see if she knows any more around the Gelco supplies. I apologise that I don't, in honesty, but happy for either Hannah to unmute herself or Laura to update us as to what Gelco is and if the supplies are on their way.
I don't have an update, Hannah, but I'm happy if you want to link in with me after this, and I'll help get an update for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. And then that leaves the only outstanding issue, which is the most important pressing matter of the day, which is when is the duet going to be shared with the wider Children's Hospital? We clearly need a deadline for when Liz and Ed will duet. There could be song requests for it, or maybe we could allow them to choose how their voices match together beautifully. Ed, over to you.
I think we need a little bit of time, Colin, just to get the relevant contracts in place. My people are talking to Liz's people currently. Rome wasn't built in a day. I really think we need your patience on this particular project.
As beautifully put there, Ed, we will wait with bated breath, and I think it's an excellent suggestion of Liz's as well for a charity donation, of which I'm very happy to contribute to, but I think I'll have to put a deadline on potentially before the summer if that's going to happen. So I'm keen to see developments ongoing. Great, so lovely to see you all. Amazing news as well, 80 days to the transplant games. Yeah, they are not that far away now, so thank you, Matthew, for raising that point, and well done with regards to your 100 miles as well. There are challenges afoot within the management team as well. I'm going to hold us account to that, that will be shared with the rest of the Children's Hospital. So look forward to hearing about those updates, and I look forward to seeing you all next week, and I hope you have a great week ahead. Bye all.
Thanks, Colin.
Thanks, Colin.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.